Hello, Ajmalin, and welcome to your deck review. For anybody joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I, Maldhound, look at your deck's PP and tell you what's wrong with it. Maybe it curves to the left, maybe it has a weird boil on it. But we're going to talk about your deck's premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck, what you hope it does if you draw the cards you want to draw, and your practicum is the cards you put in the deck. Can you draw them in such a way that it makes the idea that builds up your premise actually come true? So for this deck, we have Terra, Herald of Not Much, EVH. We have a couple problems with it, which is that we have some scary cards that we like, but we don't really have enough of them, or we can't get to them reasonably enough. We're having trouble keeping up with the rest of our table. Something doesn't feel right, but we're not sure what. And I've obviously reviewed this primer ahead of time. I do know what it is, I promise you. First, though, I want to talk about what I don't want to include. Tutors or graveyard tutors. As great as Buried Alive would be, getting my 3 best cards into my graveyard immediately feels too good and unsatisfying. You have to meditate on that. I'm not going to tell you you have to play with tutors. I doubt it would be strictly necessary. There's a lot of levers we can pull to make the deck good before that, but it always stands out to me when somebody is like, man, my friends are playing with really good cards. I really want to keep up with them. How do I do it without playing good cards? Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit for comedic effect, but I see that pattern repeat over and over again, and oftentimes it comes from people who, most of the time, if I stab in the dark, most of the time it comes from people who think Commander has a high skill ceiling, and they want to feel like they are earning something in Commander. Commander's skill ceiling is devastatingly low. It's like, there's so much stuff that can feel really, really quirky, but at the current state of Commander is most good decks are assembling 3-card combos or 3-card loops. Every archetype has their like category A plus category B plus category C means I win. For aristocrats, it's like if I have a sack outlet, if I have a way to recur the thing I sacrificed, and I have a thing that pings you or gives me value like a treasure or something when I sacrifice it, I've got you. For Spellslinger decks, it's like, do I have a thing that draws me a card when I cast a spell? Do I have a thing that makes me a mana when I cast a spell? And do I have a thing that deals damage when I cast a spell? ABC? Done. I've got you. There is way less room to earn it than most people would have you believe. And because it is such a casual game, many people have these like deep dug in biases about what archetypes actually earn it, what archetypes don't earn it. And it's very Scooby-Doo. Like if you take the mask off, it's all these A plus B plus C combos, just as far as the eye can see. So if it doesn't feel fun to you, I think that's something worth digging into, because for me at least, I've looked at your deck. Well, I'll show the rest of you all the deck list. None of the cards in your deck like win the game because you get them in your graveyard. There's so many steps left to you. Like your best ones, probably Arden, that requires you to have other stuff in your grave, and you'll deal 5 damage that turn. Like there is a whole world of needing to navigate the Commander game and win that is not shortcut by you being able to play the card that you want when you want. So maybe we'll touch on that more later. Again, you're in Mardu, so it's not like we have to do this. There's a ton of things we can do that don't involve tutors, but it does just like worry me off rip when we're like, yeah, I'm playing against Ashling Storm. How can I beat them without using Buried Alive? And then we don't want to spend a crazy amount of money on any individual card. That makes a ton of sense for me, especially if we're playing in like LGS and we don't have access to proxies. I would suggest getting right with God on proxying if the budget restriction is also part of this like perceived fairness. I would recommend looking up the like just world fallacy. And maybe ruminating on that for a little bit, because I do find it pervades the Commander space quite a lot. So let's get into the practical stuff. Something doesn't feel quite right. I'm not sure if it's the ramp package draw or interaction. I think it's the ramp. You went heavy on 2-mana ramp, which, as you state in the primer, You don't really need to get your commander out on turn 3. It doesn't let you get your commander out early. It doesn't let you pay for your commander's trigger earlier than normal. It just kind of gives you more mana for no reason, and so I'm going to hit you with the first truth nuke that every new commander player has to get hit with. Some decks don't have to ramp at all. If your curve is like mega super duper heavy, not crazy. It's a little bit crowded at 4, a little bit, it's a little heavy, but it's not the mana cheese wheel. I just don't think you need any ramp. In fact, there's only one type of ramp I think you need. You, my friend, want something like the humble Gilded Lotus. Why? Because the only reason you would ever want to ramp is, oh boy, I've drawn one of my very big, very scary cards. I don't have the mana to cast them, and I don't have a clear path to reanimate them. So you do not need 12 of these. You need maybe a handful of these because you only have 5 of these big scary guys in the first place, and one of them's 4 mana, so we're not ramping to him. But I would just straight cut everything. You would be amazed at how much more synergistic and smooth your deck can feel when you're not worried about, oh, what am I going to do with this fucking Boros Signet? Now, that said, you are going to have to spend a quiet evening in with lists of budget land cycles, and you're going to have to rebuild this land base, because right now, what your deck probably needs the 2 mana ramp for is to fix your colors. We're really heavy on basics, and we have to get all 3 pips by turn 3. So if we just went into the playtest, all right, we get Evolving Wilds. So here's actually perfect. Our first draw, we have 3 lands. We don't have our 3 colors. This Arcane Signet is saving our lives and enabling us to cast our commander, or this Gold Mirror. But right now, your 2 mana ramp is basically just a stand-in for the fact that you don't have a well-built mana base. And well-built mana bases are easier than you think to build. They are just more boring than you think. So I would say there is a Mox Field with every land cycle ever. God bless Bunny Joe Burton. You can go in here, you can see prices, you can see what you can afford, but you got to get fucked up with lands that will fix 2 colors, or lands. I think you have the ones that fix all 3 colors. I swear I saw Nomad Outpost. So if we ignore the fact that, like, we don't need these, I'm going to exile cycle these. I'm going to exile cycle that too. So we get a lot of lands. We need more of these. Wonderful. Wonderful. We need more of these. So my first turn I do that. My second turn, I crack this land, and I get a Plains. Sure, I Faithless Looting. Oh, toss a Meteor Golem away. Why not? So turn 3, we get our commander out. We're a little bit slow, but that's okay. You said you're playing in bracket 2, bracket 3. And then we would go, all right, I get to mill 2, right? I don't really care. This is pretty low impact, but it is fun to steal things. I respect you for that. So, wham bam, thank you ma'am, give me Meteor Golem. It's already pretty good. Don't hate that at all. And then we have more control. We have another way to get stuff into our graveyard. We have a way to recur. We have some interaction. All of this feels fine. I really think it is. You have a bunch of ramp that is only there to serve as a pip generator, not because you actually need the mana. And you can just instantly reclaim like seven slots. I would keep maybe 4 of these slots for Gilded Lotus, the Eternity Elevator, because it's funny. You don't even have to do this one because it's over $1. I was trying to think of ones that would be less than $1. Holy shit, Thrawn Dynamo's $3? What the fuck is happening, man? Hold on. OTAG ramp, mana value greater than or equal to 4. I promise I won't waste too much of our time on this. But the upshot is, like, have ramp you can play after your commander to get you to hard cast the big scary things if you don't have them in your graveyard. We don't need to be wasting. Our early turn should just be like, hey, do I have a synergy creature I want to play? Do I want a faithless looting early to set up my graveyard a little bit? All that type of shit. And then, God, I do love a no reason chromatic orrery. Coveted Jewel's always funny. Never underrate a little Coveted Jewel. Oh, you could fucking Dreamstone. Oh, 16 cents. Yeah! That's my goat. This is a terrible card. This is a terrible card. And it would feel better in your deck than Goldmere does. Isn't that crazy? You could Firemine Vessel too, if you want to care about pips. But that's what I would be. That's how I'd be moving. Is I would never be trying to ramp before Terra. And the other 7 slots, what we want to care about is we want more velocity, right? We either want more velocity or we want more scary stuff. A general rule of thumb I have that is backed by no data at all. Please don't tell Salubrious Snail I'm saying this. If you want to see a card of a certain category over the course of a game of Commander, you need at least 10. If you have less than 10, you can kind of get away at 8. But if you have less than 10, you're not going to see that shit. You have more card access than the average bear because you're going to be milling 2 every turn. So maybe you don't need 10. But even at 5, we're probably seeing one of these guys maximum. And like Go-Go doesn't even do anything unless we have somebody to copy. Horrifying. So we have 4 people that we want to see. Aurelia doesn't represent a lot of damage by herself. Gisela kind of does, but she's still only 1 creature. Kefka, God, I love a gambling man, right? My father was one too. That's how he lost $200,000 in one night, and that's how you're going to feel when you slam Kefka and exile nothing. So I love Arden. Actually, I love all 4 of these. You just don't have enough, and we can either get more or we can play more things that are going to get us to those cards faster. And the things that are going to get us to those cards faster, there are some just generic, very, very good and strong cards. This would be one of the like big money cards that I do think qualifies as a slam dunk for the deck because you can play it on turn 2. It's going to fill your graveyard way faster. You even have the opportunity to get those cards back if there are any you desperately need in your hand. This is one of the strongest draw engines in black. Like this is like about as good as it gets IMO before you start doing combo stuff like Necropotence. So I don't think we have a tremendous amount of other mulch options. The other things we can do is just more stuff like Faithless Looting, more stuff like Thrill of Possibility. Because you're like, draw 2, put 2 in my other hand. Fucking phenomenal. So we can either go way up on these if you don't want to start getting involved with other creatures, or we can just start getting involved with other creatures. Notably, I see you're missing... I am reaching for the bad cards first. YouTube commenters, again, because they talked about budget being an issue. 16 cents, recurable with your commander, can then recur literally all of your scary creatures, any other creature in your deck. Because I notice you have a big and huge recursion section. That's good. I like that. And then a number of our scary guys we can't get out with our commander. I think Aurelia we can. Aurelia and Go-Go we can, but these 3 we can't. So let's talk about who else would be scary and fun. I think that would be a good use of our time, because I think if we could buff this section out a little bit, we would maybe feel a bit better. We have Kefka Dancing Mats. We love stealing. We can steal with this too. We do love stealing and taking things. I mean, one of my favorites is always just Big Valgavoth. But he's $15. Oh, and he's not even a slam dunk for this deck. I'm so sorry I put him in front of you. What about Armagoon? I love this idiot. Destroy 3 creatures? Fuck yeah. There is also Archon of Cruelty. Very, very good value grind piece. Oh, but he's so expensive. Shoot me in the head, man. Okay. I love Inferno Titan. This guy does a lot of damage for me in Hensi. Now, I'm normally getting the ETB and attack trigger on the exact same turn, but he's quite fun. He's really good at spreading damage around if you have to play against anybody who likes to build up a lot of little shitters, and 27 cents. But again, you are going to have to hit a different recursion piece. So other stuff we could do is Wheel. Now, this is probably going to require you to get really, really right with proxying. Let me check Wheel of Misfortune. I think that's going to be like the only one that's cheap. And that's still $10. What about Snort? That's pretty good. Discard your hand, draw 5. Fun for the whole table, damage for everybody but you. I'd be okay with that. What else can we do that's going to get stuff into our hand and then out of our hand? Or maybe even, God, I love mulching. Oh, I love mulching so much. God, Ben, don't internalize that I showed you that guy. Holy shit, I'm so sorry. There's our old friend Ripples. God, Resentful's such a cute card. You know, I don't think this would work for you. I've seen many people try to make a deck with Fear He'll work, but I'm again trying to look into like bad budget cards that would be fun for you. If you find yourself double spelling, run her. I don't think you do find yourself double spelling. But what we're scrolling through right now is the mulch section. This is the other stuff that you could just like, if you didn't want to add a ton of new creatures, you could just fuck up your draw-ish section with a ton of these. And this would be like, okay, give me the card that I do want in hand. Give me the reanimation target straight into my graveyard. Let's get to business, right? On turn 4, you can go, all right, I ransack the lab. I draw my land drop for the turn, play my land drop, go to combat. I've been something with 2 power. I bring it back. That seems like a decent enough play pattern. And then we have She's Great. She's Great. She's Great, even though I've never seen her before. Great. Don't know, but I don't care. Great. Don't love this. I don't think we're like that huge on instants and sorceries, or at least... Oh, and this is an enchantment too. Oh. Oh my. Well, I truly don't believe in this, brother. Whatever you're up to, I no. Yeah, Sun Titan's a pretty goddamn good card. Yeah, Sister Hospitalier is very, very good. Then we have more Mill. Then we have Theft just because Black Cat's a baddie. Hell yeah. Spooky. I disagree. I especially disagree with both Cardoor and Deadpool. I don't think they do enough to not fit in with the 3-power recursion plan and not be a self-contained, very scary threat like Arden, Aurelia, Gisela would be. These just kind of seem like, I think these are in the pet card tag. See, like, you pet carded, like, Coffin Queen, who has a use case, and Soul Ring that has a use case, and Aurelia that has a use case, and then you were like, yeah. This motherfucker's good, though. Wait till he gets you, bro. So I would swap Cardoor and Deadpool are your actual pet cards. Siegfried's dope. Workhorse is... oh, sideboard, thank God. Okay. X situationship's very funny. So yeah, your recursion section is solid. We can just tear up this whole ramp section. Your draw section I am not in love with. I think we're going to be doing very little casting. Morbid Opportunist is a very good card. Braids is a very good card for you. Would not be doing the Nat. Even if you have a high density of legendaries, we're casting so few of them. Most of them are going into the graveyard, and then our commander is bringing them back out. So we've talked about fix the ramp. We've talked about what can we do with the card draw. We've talked about maybe 1 or 2 or 3 big over-the-top haymakers that could join your scary pile. I think the last thing we would want to talk about is how do we endgame sooner? Oh, and I get to recommend my favorite dog shit card. I'm so sorry. Show it to me! Put her in the deck! Terrible card, genuinely. If you really need this deck to play better, I think you should go deeper into, you either need to figure out what's happening with tutors, or you should be doing more of a board control-y strategy and have some more stuff like Accursed Marauder, Edict Effects. These are already very powerful. Squall players know this game very, very well. But if you're having trouble with your opponents who just kind of like plop their big synergy engine down and then go off, you either have to be willing to play the cards that put you at the Reanimator Big Kids table, which are notably the tutors for Reanimator, or you have to kick the legs out from under their big kid table. And for you, that's going to be Accursed Marauder. This boy has a tag too. Where is he? I think we want to go symmetrical, O-tag, removal, sacrifice, commander, Mardu. All right. So there's a Cursed Marauder. There is Gaius, which is kind of cute. He's really expensive, but he is recurable with Terra, and he lets you pick what they're going to be sacrificing. Well, what you're going to be sacrificing to. Give me creatures. Type creature. Okay, and then we have... Why is Plaguecrafter not showing up on this tag? Hold on. Okay. There's also Plaguecrafter. There's also Fleshbag Marauder. There's also Rankle, which is interesting. There's Demon's Disciple. These are all guys where you can sacrifice them to their own trigger and then bring them back on turns when you need them. So if you don't want to really juice up how quickly your game plan is happening, you are going to have to utilize these types of removal pieces. You could also utilize more repeatable removal with things like, what's the commando's name? Cathar Commando. You can bring it back with your commander. You can sack him to blow up an artifact or enchantment. And if you're like, that sounds awful, that sounds too mean, then we're going to have to speed up what you're doing. And we're going to have more scary things, more ways to get them out more faster, and then you can keep up by being proactive. But if you don't want to keep up by being proactive, by using the things like, oh, I'm going to Ripples of Undeath, I'm going to Entomb, I'm going to Bury It Alive, and then I'm going to bring out, you know, Aurelia, and I'm going to beat the combo player to death, you're going to have to start rankling a bitch. So I wish you the very best of luck, and I do hope this helped.